woke up this morning, so let's put it in its proper perspective, right? Oh, I smoke. Yeah, and that's going to be the answer for, I believe, for a lot of people for a while, because folks are still learning the different platforms and stuff like that. My favorite stoner movie. Gotta keep it all the way a buck. Friday. Yep. Friday. Yep. That's probably gonna be so wait a minute. Am I the first person to give the answer? So everybody that says Friday will be copying off of me. Friday. Leo said Friday first. Papers. I've evolved. Papers. I need to taste what I'm consuming. I need to know. I need the correct terpene profile. I need to be able to, you know how you have that smell that comes with cannabis? If you can taste it, then you know. Yeah. So yeah, I don't want tobacco. Yeah, and then you have people who get the flavored Dutches and all that stuff. That was me back in the day and everything. But then I took a trip to Amsterdam, and I ain't been right since. Yes, there you go. Indica, I'm an indica man. Yeah, I'm an indica. Nightcap. You know what I'm saying? But if I want to remain functional and try to get things done and everything like that, then it's a sativa. Bridge H2O. I had a hand in that one. That was Bridge H2O was a cultivar that was created in my honor, and I actually had an opportunity to have a say so in putting the different plants together. And so and it was an experience I never want to go through again, that's for certain, only because through that experience I found out I had triggers I didn't know about, because it was a lot of psycho talking, talking with the grower. How do you feel about this? How did this make you feel? In doing so, I had to go through things and talk about things. I know I left Adam with some of the stuff that I was saying, but it took a while, and then Bridge H2O was the result. And the first time I consumed Bridge H2O, 10 hours of sleep with no dreams. Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember I woke up the next day because I had to go somewhere, and I was running late. You know how and I jumped up, came downstairs, walked right past my wife. I said, "Hey, I'll be right back. I got to do da-da-da-da." And she said, "Okay." And then I said, and I ran downstairs and I was putting my shoes on. And she said, "So how was it?" And I was like, "How was what?" And she said, "Your weed." And I said, that's when it hit. Yeah, yup. And I was energized. Bridge H2O, yup. For me. So the benefits for me is that I learned that having been exposed to post-traumatic stress, having done multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan as both a soldier and a contractor, and what cannabis has allowed me to do is to go from suffering from post-traumatic stress to living with post-traumatic stress. And it's as simple of a saying as it may be, the journey to get there wasn't as simple. It doesn't do the journey any justice. And so learning that, I had to, with consuming cannabis has also taught me how to expand my horizons as well, to include, different delivery platforms and how I consume, and then also open it up to, psilocybin and so forth. So yeah, it's a lot. Well, I am the National Director of Veterans Outreach with Minorities for Medical Marijuana, amongst other things. And the thing I'm most proud about that position, particularly as the National Director of Veterans Outreach, what I wanted to do was I noticed that after a while, when you say veterans, people think PTSD, homelessness, and suicide, because we are at 22 veteran suicides a day. You know, we now have more Vietnam veterans who killed themselves than who died in the war. And that's over 58,000. And we passed that number years ago. And just being honest with you, 22 a day was the number they settled on. It's a lot. It's 5 a week in New Jersey. And so having these numbers, you know, these things, and this is a fact and it's still this way, you know, what I wanted to do in this position that I'm in with M for MM was I wanted to change the narrative on when you talk about veterans. And, you know, I wanted to, you know, I noticed that as states were falling for adult use cannabis and changing their laws, we were being written into the laws. Minorities, women, veterans, and so forth. And so your veteran community is the only community that is literally represented by every single demographic in these United States. And so being that, you know, you have the greatest military in the history of the planet, and that's a fact as well, you know, it's because all of us at some point or another lived in an environment that fostered success. It was geared towards success. Now, the secret to that success is we only know how to do things one way, together. We've always done it together. Hence why you have the greatest military in the history of the planet. And so you, tax-paying citizen, spent about $4 million on me. That's how much it cost you to send me to basic training, to send me to advanced individual training, to send me to my first unit at Fort Bragg, to send me to war, to train me on the equipment that I was using as a telecommunications specialist, to train me to, now you're spending money to get me out of the Army. Then you're spending money while I'm a contractor, and I was making big money then, you know. And so what I believe that I have given you up to this point, or hope to give you, is as a taxpaying citizen, I feel like I've given you a better return on investment than a suicide, and you're at 22 a day of those. So if we want to talk numbers and everything like that, let's look at it that way. You know, when you see a veteran sleeping on a bench, how much of your money is that sleeping on the bench? Are you getting the full value out of that? You know, because that guy could have been in charge of multi-million-dollar piece of equipment, and you'd never know it. There's not one job that is in the United States military that can't be done out here in the civilian world. Army Corps of Engineers, we have doctors, nurses, psychiatrists, we have chefs, we have bands, we have, you know, UAV drivers, we have tank drivers, we have crane operators, we have bridge makers, you know, every single job, you know, you have in the military. And here's the thing, it's not about whether you're black or white, you know, it's not rank, you know, that's what makes it, you know, why we have what we have, but we're not looking at it that way. By the next presidential election. Well, this is 2022, okay? And we are, going on 6 months from election, we're 6 months and 2 weeks from election day. And this is a midterm year, okay? So I would imagine that someone's probably going to, you know, like you see what's happening in Congress with the MORE Act going through and whatnot. So the federal legalization of cannabis would make some great campaign fodder. You know, if you think about it, you know, if you think about, you know, 2 years from now, we're going to be picking a president again. you know. And if you look at Joe Biden's track record on cannabis, not time appropriate. You know, if you look at, whenever you hear him talk about cannabis, first thing that fly out of his mouth is rehab. And then he'll say something like, it should be a Schedule 2, you know, not realizing, you know, with Schedule 2, you kill the whole industry as we know it. Because then, and I said that when he was running for president, I was like, I got a feeling he's gonna do a deal with the pharmaceutical industry. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it, old people like to do what? Take that medicine. So, and he's the first president from the silent generation. Okay, yeah, something ain't right here. I'm a Biden guy. I was a Bernie guy. Hey, listen, Killer Mike co-signed Bernie. When he did that, I looked him up, you know, and, you know, I was like, oh, okay. See, Killer Mike hadn't have said anything about Bernie, I wouldn't have looked him up. And then when I looked him up and started doing research and listening, it's like, okay, that's my dude. Yeah, okay, that's right. The old dude who's always talking. Okay, yeah. Ooh, tonight, I got my hands on, okay, so it's a combination of things. So it's sour, I got sour diesel, and I sprinkled some hash I got from DC Scribner, who's a protege of Frenchy Cannoli. So, yeah. But see, I understand why a lot of people don't like edibles, and it's because you have to learn your body all over again. You have to learn, you know, like most of us who consume by smoking, we know how many hits off of a joint it would take before you actually feel it. All right. Folks don't know how their own individual bodies, how fast they process things, number one. Number two, they don't realize that edibles are the strongest way to get high, okay? And it lasts the longest because it goes through the small intestine and stuff like that. And then folks need to understand the fastest way to consume cannabis to get high is actually vaping. You know, and then, but folks don't know about under the tongue, lingual, you know, so there's all these different ways in which people, and I'm learning myself, I'm also learning about resins and hashish and, you know, the different oils and stuff like that, you know, even consuming, Modernal through the skin, you know, those are also, you know, there's patches and stuff out there like that, so yeah, especially when you get on a long flight, like going from here to LA. That's a 6-hour flight. Take that edible. Float all the way through. All right. No problem, brother. This is a good interview, man. No doubt.